Hello YouTube, I'm back with another video. This time I'm going to be talking about how I paint portraits. Similar to my video on how I paint backgrounds, I'll mainly be talking about tips and tricks that help me in my process in particular that may help you guys watching as well. On the screen is the reference photo that I'll be painting, the person being the lovely Chicha Amatayako, which I hope I said right. So yeah, let's get to it. So yeah, starting out portrait paintings, I usually start one of two ways. I either do the line art or I go straight into painting with the colors and things like that. As you can see, I did the basic Loomis method, you know, the ball and subdivisions of the hairline, brow line, nose and chin. And yeah, I just started placing in the features and so forth. I would recommend doing 5,000 Loomis heads to get good at it, because even me, I do this all the time and I still feel like I'm bad at it, but that's what practice is for, and portrait studies like this is for, to get better at the portrait placements and things like that, especially with the placement of the eyes to the nose to the lips and so forth. But yeah, notice that I'm keeping the lines pretty loose, like the hair. It's nothing's really set in stone. At this point, I am not really afraid of making any mistakes, just keeping it loose, because you don't want to make too many hard decisions at the beginning of any piece of work you are doing. I would say for portrait paintings, the thing that I'm trying to achieve is likeness. I don't expect to make an exact copy of the photo, because damn, I don't think I'm that good. Not yet. Not yet, at least. But the point is that you can see some sort of likeness to the photo, and I would like to think I achieved that with the end result. So yeah, I'm just adding some slight details to the hair, and at this point I would think that I'm relatively satisfied with the line work, and I head straight to the coloring, and I use my trusty jitter brush. I always go for it because it just lays on a nice texture and a lot of hues and values right onto the skin and wherever I decide to paint on top of. Now, while I have my base color underneath, I immediately paint over my lines. Also note that I colored the line art in a nice earth warm skin tone, just to make it easier to blend the skin tones when the time comes. Usually when I'm doing this, I immediately start painting over the lines, because I don't like having too obvious line work in my paintings or any piece of work that I do. As if you guys know me and line art, we don't mix. Although there will come a time where I feel like I may have to work on that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on that. I have an entire bachelor's in fine art just for doing comics and cartooning, and here am I bad at it. What am I doing? But yeah, when I have that time, I'll practice my line art. I might make a video about it. Who knows? But yeah, since I did practice a bunch of traditional paintings, I have sort of tried to communicate that feeling with my digital work. So you'll see lots of brush strokes, lots of patches of color value here and there. I don't want to blend this too smoothly, so like it's like a nice smooth gradation of value and color. I try not to do that because, well, it sort of gives that digital feeling to it, when I actually want my portraits to have a feeling of, you know, being painted with oil paint. Hence why I got that oil painting brush set. And it's funny because I think Coral Painter, that was the whole basis of one of the iterations of Coral Painter, that it can mimic traditional oil paints. But I had it once, but that was a long time ago. How's your guys' day going? Hopefully it's been going well. I just got back from work. I'm a bit tired, but I thought like, yeah, you know, I could get this video. I did this painting. Procreate records the process, so I could easily, you know, put it in Adobe Premiere and start making a video. With my painting style, and all of you guys know it, all of you guys say it all the time, it's based and reminiscent of Ishida Sui. I love the man's work. And speaking of Ishida Sui, did you guys read the chapter of Choji next? I hope you guys like it. I'm hyped to see what that man's gonna do next. If it, anything with Ishida Sui, I'm on that. I'm just very excited with anything that he's worked on. He's a good storyteller, and his artwork is just amazing. He's definitely in my top 5 most influential artists of all time. Oh, that could be a video in and of itself. My top 5 favorite artists. But yeah. At this point of the painting, I rendered the skin as great as I want it to be, and for the hair, best to focus on large shapes. Try not to do every single strand. Clumps are where you want to go with the hair. And here I start to go crazy with color. I put on like a bunch of gradient maps, layers, like multiply layers and stuff like that, and I decided to have this nice, okay, yeah, I go crazy here. You could definitely see my inspiration from Ishida Sui here. I just add a bunch of design elements to it. Sort of had an abstract flair, lots of texture, colors everywhere. And this part is maybe more of a stylistic choice. This is something that you wouldn't put in your photos or photo studies, but something I put in for mine because it's that extra flair. Because as I mentioned before, I don't want it to be a carbon copy of the photo. I do sort of want to add a bit of me, so to speak, into this portrait painting. Let's just say I wouldn't want this to be mistaken for anyone else doing it other than me. But after a bunch of revisions, color corrections, I finally settled on a look for it. And I think I'm really satisfied with how this came out. Now, this part is sort of a bonus. I mentioned in the beginning of the video how I have 2 methods of doing my portrait paintings. One is starting with some line work, usually the Andrew Loomis ball method, and the other is just going straight in with some color and painting as I go. Now, when I paint in this method, I feel a bit more braver doing like a lot more experimental things with my work. I would say my tip in doing like painting straight onto the canvas, no lines, is to, well, trust the process, because in the beginning it's very easy to get disheartened because it could look, I guess, ugly. Well, not ugly, but not refined. And well, to be fair, does any piece of work or artwork look good at the beginning? I don't think so. But when you're working with color and not really have any like lines, like sort of map everything out, everything could sort of, you know, escape you. Like you could sort of lack, I guess, the visualization of what you are doing. What I like about doing this method is that I could really focus on things like shapes to sort of like convey the human form. Whereas with lines, you can sort of get away with a lot of things. You can sort of get complacent with lines. That's why I'll have moments where my portrait painting will just start out straight with the color and no lines, because when I work with lines, I don't know, I feel sort of bound and constrained from them. But yeah, this is, as I said, this is sort of a bonus. Like you don't have to watch this section of the video if you don't have to. I actually painted this a long time ago actually, but I've only recently decided to include it for this part of the video, just to sort of give you an example of what it looks like to, you know, paint straight onto the canvas. There's no reference photo, this was just done off the top of my head, just to give an example of what it would look like. That's it. Yeah, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this by seeing my process. If you got nothing out of this, then I hope you liked it anyway. If nothing else, just for the art. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.